Eastern Europe, a land of castles, cobblestones, and enough history to fill 1,000 Netflix documentaries. But while everyone flocks to Prague's Old Town or Budapest's Parliament, we're going off the beaten track. Today, we're uncovering hidden historical gems in Eastern Europe that most travelers don't even know exist. From underground salt cathedrals to medieval towns frozen in time, this is history with a twist. So, grab your passport and maybe a strong pair of walking shoes because you'll want to add these places to your bucket list. Oh, and before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. Otherwise, you might miss the next adventure. And trust me, your travel fear of missing one will not forgive you. Let's start with something a little bone-chilling. Literally. In Kutná Hora, just an hour from Prague, you'll find the Sedlec ossuary, also known as the Bone Church. It's decorated with the remains of over 40,000 people, chandeliers, coats of arms, even wall patterns, all made from human bones. Creepy? Absolutely. Fascinating? Definitely. But don't worry, Kutná Hora also has stunning Gothic architecture and medieval streets that feel straight out of a fantasy novel. You'll feel like you're in Game of Thrones, but hopefully without the beheadings. Next up, Romania. No, not Dracula's castle, we're skipping the cliches today. Instead, welcome to Alba, Iulia, known as the spiritual capital of Romania. This star-shaped fortress town has been central to the country's history for centuries, from Roman times to modern independence. And bonus, you can actually watch a changing of the guard ceremony here that feels like you've traveled back in time, but with way less sword fighting and plague. Now we head south to Montenegro, to the medieval town of Kotor. Picture this, a fortified old town surrounded by dramatic mountains with the Adriatic Sea right at its doorstep. It's basically Dubrovnik's little sister, equally stunning, but without the Game of Thrones crowds. And if you're feeling adventurous, you can climb the fortress steps for an epic view. Warning though, there are over 1,000 stairs, so maybe don't do it right after lunch. Fun fact, Plovdiv is one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world, even older than Rome or Athens. Yep, Bulgaria's been keeping secrets. Here, you'll find a Roman amphitheater still used for concerts today, colorful 19th century houses, and a creative arts district that gives the city a modern, youthful vibe. History meets hipster. What more could you want? Despite recent struggles, Ukraine's city of Lviv remains a cultural gem. The historic center is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, packed with Baroque churches, cobbled squares, and cafes that look like something out of Paris. And let's not forget, Lviv is known for having some of the best coffee in Eastern Europe. So yes, you can sip a latte while admiring centuries of architecture. That's what I call a win-win. If fairy tales were real, they'd probably be set in Český Krumlov. This little town looks like it's been plucked straight out of a storybook, complete with a giant castle overlooking a river that twists around the old town. Fun twist, the castle even has a bear moat. Yes, actual bears once guarded the castle. Today, it's mostly tourists with cameras, but the charm remains. High up in the Rila mountains sits Bulgaria's most famous monastery. Think colorful frescoes, striped black and white arches, and a backdrop of pine-covered peaks. It feels like you've stepped into another world, one where monks lived in isolation, and you're just trying to get the perfect Instagram shot. Back in Romania, welcome to Sighișoara, one of Europe's best preserved medieval towns. Colorful houses, cobblestone streets, and a clock tower that looks like something out of Harry Potter. Oh, and small detail, it's also the birthplace of Vlad the Impaler. Yep, the guy who inspired Dracula. But don't worry, the scariest thing you'll find here today is overpriced souvenirs. Slovenia might not scream coastal paradise, but wait until you see Piran. This Venetian-style town sits right on the Adriatic with terracotta rooftops, a charming harbor, and sunsets that could make even Instagram jealous. It's like Venice, but without the gondola traffic jams. And finally, Veliko Tarnovo, Bulgaria's old medieval capital. Perched on cliffs above a winding river with fortress ruins and winding cobbled lanes, it feels like stepping back into the Middle Ages. They even have light shows projected on the fortress walls at night. Think medieval rave, but with history instead of house music. So there you have it. 10 hidden historical gems in Eastern Europe that deserve way more love. From bone churches to fairy tale towns, this part of the world is packed with surprises. And no, it's not just all Dracula and cheap beer. Which of these places would you love to visit first? Drop your pick in the comments. I'm curious which one stole your heart. And hey, if you enjoyed this trip through time, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell so you won't miss our next adventure. Until then, happy travels, and remember, history is way cooler when you experience it in person.